In this video, I'm going to show you why you'll probably spend more, not less, when you retire, and I'm going to show you exactly where you're going to spend it. Coming up next on Holy Schmidt.
Holy Schmidt!
If you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Jeff. I'm a CPA turned author turned public speaker. I'm also the creator of the course Social Security Simplified. I started this channel in 2020, really at the request of my daughter. She saw me helping family members with their finances, at least with financial education, and she said, "Dad, if you can help them, can you help others as well? The world is in a bad place right now, and I think a lot of people could use the information that you helped our relatives with." And with that, the channel was born. Today we have almost 400,000 subscribers, over 60 million views, over 5 million hours of watch time, and we would love it if you become part of our YouTube family. Simply click subscribe and turn on notifications, and you'll get alerted the next time we post a video. We post 2 or 3 times a week. Whoever said that people spend about 80% of their working year's income when they retire is taking a very general lens and applying it to a very complex issue. And the fact is, data from a recent Chase study shows that spending actually goes up, not down, when people retire, at least for a while. Let's start off with healthcare costs. For most people, their employer pays for a large portion of their medical insurance. Maybe not all of it, but a large portion of it, in most cases anyway. And the fact is, most people who have a small contribution or no contribution coming out of their check don't actually realize how expensive health insurance is for the employer. This is particularly true if the employee and his or her partner is in their 50s or 60s, and it's even more true if they have children, because the cost of health insurance is expensive, even if the employer is paying for it. Somebody has to pay for it. Once they leave the safety of their employer, reality kicks in, and if they're under 65, the cost of insurance can be really, really large, even if they go to, say, the ACA marketplace, because they have a lot of different price points in that marketplace. It depends on the coverage, but it also depends on the income level. Someone with a reasonable income level doesn't get any break on the cost of insurance at all. Now, if someone had that intermediate step of going to private insurance before they went to Medicare, costs will probably go down when they go on Medicare, but it will more than likely still be more than what they were paying with their employer. For example, Medicare, there's Part A, Part B, and Part D. Part A is free for most people. Part B, in 2026 anyway, is $202.90 a month, and Part D is going to be dependent on the formulary. That's the specific combination of drugs that the recipient is using. Part B goes up pretty much every year. In fact, in 2026, it went up 9.7%. It was at $185 in 2025, and it went to $202.90 in 2026. And then there's a Medigap plan, and that plan can be not so expensive or very expensive, depending on things like location and the type of plan that you choose. A Medigap plan, by the way, plugs a lot of the holes that exist in Medicare's Part A and B, because they have co-insurance and no maximum out-of-pocket. And so if you don't have a cap on the out-of-pocket and you don't have something like a Medigap plan to protect you, you have unlimited risk on the upside if you have a big medical procedure. The other option is to go with a Medicare Advantage plan that's basically private insurance. It's like an HMO or a PPO. Oftentimes, there aren't any additional costs whatsoever, and they come with additional perks. The downside to a Medicare Advantage plan is that providers come and go. And your favorite provider might be in the plan this year, but they might not be on the plan next year. Also, Medicare Advantage plans are regional, which means that you have full coverage within a specific footprint, but if you travel much outside of that area, you're not going to have great coverage. And just for completeness, there's a third leg, which nobody really talks about, but they should, and that's long-term care. 70% of retirees need long-term care at some point, sometimes for an extensive period of time, but less than 15% have long-term care insurance. What that means is those that don't have long-term care insurance either pay for it out of pocket, which can be really expensive, or they rely on family members if they have family members to help. Also, if your income is low enough, then Medicaid might be able to help with long-term care as well. The next reason that spending goes up is travel and lifestyle upgrades. You've been waiting all your life to go on that trip or move into that country club community or to move to a better place. There are a lot of reasons why this happens, but it does happen. And this generally exists for the first 5 or 10 years post-retirement, and then it tapers off and then drops dramatically in late-stage retirement. Retirees who spend money on lifestyle upgrades realize that their energy level isn't going to be high for very long, maybe 5 or 10 years before it starts to decline. And so they want to do the trip that they've always wanted to do during their working years and couldn't. And they want to move to the place that they always wanted to move to. And the data suggests that travel costs are going to continue to go up in the future because that's the way that they behaved in the past. Airfare, lodging, tours, you name it. It all goes up with inflation and then some. And with all of that extra time, they need to spend money filling that time. Golf, boating, recreational vehicles, dining out, entertainment, social activities, they all increase when you go into retirement, for a lot of people anyway, because now you have the time. And then there's that bucket list activity. You know the one. It's the one you've been thinking about your entire life. For me, for example, it's a trip to Antarctica. For others, it might be a trip to Europe or Asia or South America. Who knows? But it's one that they've been planning for a long, long time, and now they have the time to go. Gang, I've got a question for you. How ready are you for retirement, really? The fact is, most people think that they're more ready than they really are. So I created a free, absolutely free, 100% free retirement readiness quiz. You answer 15 questions, and a report will be emailed to you instantly. Totally free, no credit card or anything like that required. If this is of interest to you, go to holyschmidt.com/quiz, fill out the questionnaire, and you'll have the results within about 30 seconds. Next, a lot of people don't realize that their home expenses don't go down the way they think they're going to go down. Let me explain. The holy grail of retirement is paying off your home before you retire. Yet 40% of people don't actually pay off their home before they retire. Still, even if you were among the 60%, a lot of expenses related to your home just don't go away because your mortgage is gone. Property taxes, for example, don't go away simply because your mortgage is paid off. If it was part of your mortgage payment before, now you need to write a check to pay for your property taxes. And they go up every year or every few years, and they continue to go up decade after decade. Home insurance has risen so fast over the last several years that a lot of people are selling their home simply because they can't afford the insurance. My personal insurance has gone up 50% in the last 5 years, and I live in New York. I don't live in Florida, which is hurricane prone, or other parts of the country which have big natural disasters. And the fact is, the way property insurance really works is that you don't have to have a claim for your insurance to go up dramatically. You're pooled with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, and if there's a big claim or series of claims in that pool, like say the California fires or a hurricane in Florida, well, there are a lot of claims, and those claims mean that insurance premiums are going to rise. And then you need to maintain or improve things like your roof, your HVAC system, your appliances. The list is almost endless. So just because you've paid off the mortgage doesn't mean that you're going to have an expense-free living arrangement. People also have utilities, landscaping, snow removal, HOA fees in some areas. These all move in one direction, generally speaking anyway. And if you're still living in your home in 10, 20, or 30 years, you need to add accessibility upgrades so that you can get into and out of your home or up the stairs. Now, if you said, Jeff, I hear you, and you know what, my decision is just to rent. Well, you might be able to avoid some of the big expenses because you're not going to have to pay for the new roof or the HVAC system all at one time anyway. But the person who owns the building or the home that you live in is going to have to pay for those, and that means that your rent goes up. Next is ongoing support for your children or your grandchildren or even your parents, depending on the specific situation. Just because you retire doesn't mean that that support ends in many cases. Many retirees continue to provide support for things like rent or living expenses or emergencies, as the case may be. And grandchildren often create new costs for things like gifts, travel, education, and other financial support. Some retirees help their aging parents with things like long-term care, medical assistance, housing expenses, upkeep, etc. And the big thing about family support is that it's often ongoing and it's often unplanned, which makes it very difficult to budget for. And these obligations can quietly become a permanent line item in a retiree's monthly spending. Gang, if you're doing your budgeting on spreadsheets, you're doing it the old-fashioned way. I personally recommend and use BOLDIN personal financial planning software. BOLDIN is one of only 3 affiliates we have on this channel, and they can help you with planning a lot of the things that we're talking about right now. So if this is of interest to you, they're offering 2 weeks free, and then it's $12 a month after that, paid annually. Go to go.boldin.com/Schmidt, and you can get your 2 weeks free instantly. Next up is inflation. Inflation alone can cause a retiree to spend more in retirement than during their working years simply because prices continue to go up every year. Even low inflation continues to compound over time. 2 to 3% per year builds on itself, and over a series of 5 to 10 years, all of a sudden you are paying 20, 30% more than you were paying when you retired. And the fact is, if you look at where retirees spend their money, things like groceries, utilities, transportation, insurance, these have risen faster than general inflation over the last several years, and my guess is they'll continue to rise faster in the years ahead. What that means is that retirees who are living on a fixed income will see less and less purchasing power, and they'll feel it even more. What costs $50,000 per year today can cost $60,000 to $75,000 in 10 to 12 years with normal inflation. So where did that 80% rule come from anyway, if it doesn't apply to most retirees? Well, it came from our parents and our grandparents. And there used to be a way to retire, frankly, where people would go into retirement and they would cut their spending. And it was the system that was developed and people just accepted it. They would basically go into their house, turn on the TV, and they would come out from time to time. But today's retiree doesn't live like that. At least many of them don't. They want an active retirement. They want to enjoy their retirement. They want to be with friends. They want to be with family. They want to travel. They want to do a lot of things that our parents and grandparents just did not do. And by the way, if you want to live like your parents or grandparents, the day you walk off the factory room floor or the day you walk out of the office and you go into retirement, slowing everything down by 20% or more in many cases, it's still available to you. But people have better retirement technology. I guess that's the best way to describe it, meaning that they have the formula right for retirement, or at least better. My guess is the generation after us and the generation after that will have the formula even better. But this formula for the current retirees is better than the formula from 50 years ago, let's say. If you like this video, check out that video. Is a fully paid off home in retirement really worth it? Also, if you have a video idea that you would like us to film, just put it in the comments section below and we'll seriously consider it. We filmed 3 videos in the last 4 weeks based on recommendations from the audience, and we will be happy to consider yours. Just put it in the comments section below. This is Jeff Schmidt, and I will see you in that video right there.